Hi, this is Cathy Thomas with part 2 of some of the things that have happened to JT and I after leaving the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. I also remembered when I first left, I would always look for signs that other people may have discovered what JT and I had discovered about this organization not being the truth. And one of the things was, if people stopped going to the Kingdom Hall, I would just naturally assume that, oh, they must have found out the truth about the truth as well. And this one sister in my congregation, I called her on the phone, and I knew she hadn't been to the congregation in a while. She was also going to college, and so I said, I'll bet you any amount of money that she probably found out this is not the truth, blah, blah, blah. Well, I put that to the test and failed, because I said something negative, and she quickly checked me and said, huh? What did you just say? And I had to back down real quick because I realized I was barking up the wrong tree. So those are some of the things that, you think because you stumbled upon this, the truth about this organization, you think everybody else did too, when in fact, they're just not going to the Kingdom Hall for some other reason, There was a couple in our congregation, and the husband got sick, and he was really, really frustrated because there were some people in the congregation that were giving him a hard time. And he said he could not believe that the people on his job gave him the necessary time off from work, understood his situation, the whole nine, and really just made it easy for him for his secular job. Yet, he told JT, when I come to the Kingdom Hall, the brothers are giving me all of this flack about why I'm not at the Kingdom Hall. When am I coming back? I'm not out in field service and all of that. And so he made that comparison about the secular job versus being at the Kingdom Hall. And then I thought about it too, and I said, you know what? It's amazing how the secular job, you're at least getting paid, and at the Kingdom Hall, you're not even getting a dime. And yet people want you on the clock, So JT and I were encouraging the sister, his wife, because her husband was in the hospital, and so we had her over, her and her daughter, and we were encouraging her and so forth and so on, and we were having this conversation with his wife about how the people in the congregation can't seem to understand and give him they just wouldn't look at him in a favorable light because he wasn't at the Kingdom Hall and they felt he should be. So during that same time, there was an article that had came out about the pioneer, this pioneer couple, and how they needed to get like $88.12 to fix a car or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly what the experience was all about, but we were telling this sister that it's amazing how when these experiences are being related in the magazines, how people know exactly how much money someone needs. So we proceeded to say, we believe that the people who gave this pioneer couple the money to get their car fixed, they had to know that the person needed this $88.12 because there's just no way they would be able to just, pick that number out of their head. And so she was agreeing with us and so forth, and it was just a really simple situation we were talking about. So fast forward to like 2 weeks later, and not to mention, JT and I, we're about to make our exit. And this sister sees me at the grocery store, mind you. And I look at her, she looks at me, she has this really strange look on her face, like she wants to approach me and say something. So, nothing was said, I went into the grocery store, she was leaving, and so forth and so on. Now, the next Sunday, this is like on a Thursday. So at that Sunday, at the meeting, the sister sees me. I'm waiting for James to come out of an elders meeting and so forth, and so I'm standing out, in the main auditorium with all the rest of the friends talking and so forth. That sister came up to me, and she had this same look that she had on her face when I saw her at the grocery store. But this time she approached me and she says, I was just thinking. She says, you and JT, you were speaking against Jehovah. And I'm like, we were? And I'm like, I'm trying my best because I know we were leaving. I know we know this is not the truth. I know that the sister's on to us some kind of way, and she's seeing that this experience that we were relating to her about this $88.12, she's now approaching me in the Kingdom Hall, and she's getting loud and letting me know that we were talking against Jehovah. So anyway, I managed to get out of that one. Not sure how I did that, but when it finally came time for JT to resign as being an elder and turning in his flock book and so forth, it was the next Tuesday, because that was our theocratic school and service meeting. And I decided that I had had enough, and I was not going to stay at the meeting that night, and I was getting out of there because he was going into a meeting with the brothers, and no one was going to know that he was, stepping aside with those brothers. And I think he even got a ride home with somebody that night, but I couldn't take it no more. I was like about to lose it. And so JT was a little frustrated with me because I left him there by himself to leave and turn in his flock book and so forth. But I was terrified. Looking back at it now, I wish I would have stayed there, but I'm just telling you, that was just the way I was. I couldn't handle it, and I just left. But when you look back on all the experiences, all the things that happened after we left, I'm telling you, we were afraid. And the biggest thing that I had after we left was my reputation. I was really concerned about my reputation. I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. I knew that, because we decided that we didn't want to go to the Kingdom Hall, that no one should be calling into question my character and who I am as a person. And so I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me, is people, still having respect for me as an individual, because I knew that I was still the same person I was before I left. And we did run into some friends that were really good friends of JT's at Bethel. And this brother was very forceful. He really trashed our character after we left. And we later found out that, he was saying things that just was not true about my character. Because number one, that brother was very frustrated with JT after JT left Bethel and no longer had a desire to be a circuit overseer. Because when they were at Bethel, they talked about going to the circuit work. JT was like, after he left, I am not going to go out here, try to pioneer. He would see brothers going back to Bethel, and they would literally have cardboard in their shoes. He said when he left Bethel, he wasn't doing that. So this brother just naturally thought I was the reason why JT no longer wanted to, pursue a dream to become a circuit overseer. Because he and his wife, they really wanted to be shining stars, up-and-coming celebrities in the organization. And really, quiet as it's kept, they got married, stayed in New York City, but then moved down to our congregation in Virginia. And believe you when I tell you, they terrorized the friends in our congregation, because they literally would go out and take a look and see who's on the school, who's not on the school. And they had this one sister who was not on the school, and he approached her, and he wanted to find out why she was not on the theocratic school and service meeting, or the theocratic school to give talks. And so a lot of the people in our congregation did not like this couple because they were so arrogant and just very difficult. So naturally, when we left the organization, they were like right there on our tail every minute, trying to call us on the phone, trying to find out when we were coming back to the meetings, to the point where the wife called and left a message and said, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I guess you just don't want to be in the new system. You're going to be destroyed in Armageddon, the whole 9 yards and so forth. It was just really, really crazy. But we knew the truth about the organization, so all of those things that went down didn't really bother us. Now, we really knew the truth about this organization, so after it was all said and done, we look back and we just say we know we did the right thing. Now, after we moved to our new home, What I like about moving into a new development, I will relate this experience first. I attended a seminar on my job for a retirement seminar. And the lady who actually gave that seminar basically said that when you get ready to retire from your job, it's best to move in and have new construction built. Move into a new subdivision where you're going to be building a home. And this is what she said. She said the reason why is because when you get older, it's harder to make friends. And so if you move into an area where people are already established, the likelihood of people reaching out to you being new in your neighborhood is not that great. But she said if you are having a home built, there's more of a chance that you would reach out and connect with people in your neighborhood because they are looking for new friends to hang out with in their new area as well. So I really feel like when JT and I were moving from Virginia over to Maryland, I really feel like that was what happened to us that made our move, and after leaving Watchtower, so much easier than it would be had we have moved into a subdivision that was already established. So we were able to meet people in our neighborhood, make new friends. We ended up on the homeowners association. I used to do the website, and the newsletter, and I would do some of the video production for our development and stuff like that. So that gave us an instant connection to people in our new area. And I really feel like that helped us out a lot to transition from where we came from to where we are right now. Not to mention us going to school. We met people in school that we were able to, bond with and become friends with. People on our job. Thank God, JT and I stopped telling people on our jobs that we were Jehovah's Witnesses. So what ended up happening was, after I had left the Watchtower Society, I had started a new job. And we were on the verge of leaving the organization at the time. And so I did not tell people that I was affiliated with the Jehovah's Witnesses. So it made it really nice that now I'm on a new job, I'm in a new neighborhood, and no one knows anything about our previous affiliation with Jehovah's Witnesses. So I really feel like our transition from leaving and everything happened at the right time for us. And I know everybody can't do that, what we did and all of that, but thank goodness we had never bought a home before we had, when we first moved to the area, because that gave us the opportunity to buy someplace and move to a totally new area. So the friends that we met in our new area here where we live at now still do not know that we are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'd like to keep it that way. I really feel like sometimes people don't need all that information, because a friend of mine told me, don't tell people that you used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And this is what they were saying. If you tell someone that you are a former Jehovah's Witness, they end up telling that story to somebody else. The next thing you know, the next person that hears about you being a former Jehovah's Witness is not being told that, but they're being told that you are a Jehovah's Witness. So it's just best to just keep all that stuff where it is in the past, where it should be. And that way no one can mistakenly say that we are currently Jehovah's Witnesses, because that's not what we want. That's not the message that we want to send to people. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Cathy Thomas.
This program was sponsored by Critical Thinkers.